A cold case. Unraveling a tangled web of love and hate between one woman and three men, greed and desire running rampant in their relationships, driving one man to the brink of madness. To settle the score for a stolen love, he'd stop at nothing to orchestrate a murder, convinced he'd buried every trace of the truth. Little did he know, it would all be unraveled by a single bizarre dream. Hey everyone, welcome to Brian Crime TV. I'm Brian. Today's case comes from a special episode of Today in Court, the Sarbeni incident. Often called the only paranormal case CCTV has ever officially acknowledged. A case so bizarre, it defies all logic. Dream catches the killer. So what exactly happened here? Let's rewind to 2008 and walk through the details of this case. Changbai Mountain, sitting in the southeast of Jilin province, named for its snow-capped peaks and white pumice. As the old saying goes, live off the mountain if you're near the mountain, live off the sea if you're near the sea. Its unique climate and terrain make it incredibly rich in natural resources. Every day, locals head deep into the woods to forage, making a living off whatever the forest provides. One day in mid-June 2008, the local public security bureau at the foot of the mountain got a call. The caller said he'd found a blood-stained men's camouflage jacket under a woodpile right outside his door. He was convinced someone had been killed. The caller's name was Lu Xiaoling. She made her living foraging for mountain goods. She told police the jacket looked like it belonged to Zhang Yongcheng, and he'd been missing for a full week. Zhang Yongcheng and I were partners. We'd go into the mountains together every day to gather goods, then take them to the local market to sell. On June 11th, after we finished foraging, we had dinner together at my place. Around 10 at night, Zhang Yongcheng headed home. We'd agreed to meet up the next morning to sell our haul, but he never showed. His phone was off. At first, I didn't think much of it. Maybe he had an emergency and went back to his hometown. But today, seeing that blood-stained jacket, I knew something was seriously wrong. So I called you. Police contacted Zhang Yongcheng's family and started knocking on doors in the village. Zhang Yongcheng had moved here from Liaoning 2 years earlier, running a small trading business. Neighbors described him as kind, easygoing, and well-liked. If anyone needed a hand, he was always the first to step up. No one had ever seen him in a fight. Neighbors on both sides confirmed. After June 11th, they hadn't seen him at all. Everyone just assumed he'd left town on urgent business. When his sister, Zhang Yan, heard the news, she rushed over from Liaoning immediately. She hadn't been able to reach him for days either. She figured he was just busy with work. She never expected something like this. With her help, police entered Zhang Yongcheng's home. Doors and windows were intact, no signs of a struggle. The bed was neatly made. All his spare clothes were still there. There were even a few hundred yuan in the nightstand. This didn't look like someone who'd packed for a trip. What's worth noting, Liu Xiaoling's house was only 20 meters from Zhang Yongcheng's, a 1-minute walk. So what kind of emergency could make a grown man vanish into thin air without even saying goodbye? The lab results on the jacket came back. The blood was definitely Zhang Yongcheng's, and judging by the spatter pattern, it had been sprayed on during a violent attack. Based on what they had so far, they couldn't confirm if he was dead. It was officially a missing persons case, with strong signs of foul play. Near his house, there was a pile of sand. A massive swarm of flies was circling it, despite there being no actual waste. A sharp-eyed officer noticed the anomaly. He dug into the sand. The grains underneath were soaked in a dark red substance. DNA testing confirmed the dark red substance was Zhang Yongcheng's blood, but they couldn't determine how much blood he'd lost, so they still couldn't confirm that Zhang Yongcheng was dead. A resident living nearby said, around 10 on the night of June 11th, he did hear some noises, but it died down quickly. He figured it was just an argument and didn't think twice. With no cameras and no witnesses, the investigation hit a wall. But here's where it gets interesting. Zhang Yongcheng's sister suddenly rushed into the station in tears. She claimed, "My brother visited me in a dream. He's already dead. His body is buried in a patch of wasteland near the railway tracks." Police understood Zhang Yan's desperation, but investigations run on facts and hard evidence. Chasing a dream as a lead, it would be a laughingstock. Still, to calm her down, they sent a few officers to humor her and check the spot she described. Zhang Yan pointed to a desolate stretch of land, about 20 meters from the tracks, surrounded by waist-high weeds. "This is the place," she said, "and here's the twist. In the middle of that wasteland, a patch of earth had clearly been disturbed. They dug down about 2 meters and actually found a male body. Everyone on scene was stunned, relieved the case finally had a break, but even more shocked that the dream might actually have been real. Forensics confirmed the deceased was indeed Zhang Yongcheng. He was wearing a t-shirt and camouflage pants, the exact same clothes he was last seen in. In his pockets, a phone, a set of keys, and a few hundred yuan. Time of death, between 8 and 11 on the night of June 11th. No blood at the burial site. No drag marks, no struggle, not even footprints. Police theorized Zhang Yongcheng was likely killed around 10 that night, right after leaving Lu Xiaoling's house. The burial site wasn't the primary crime scene. The killer knew the area well, knew nobody ever went there, and after burying him, he meticulously cleaned up the scene. With the body recovered, a string of questions demanded answers. First, where was the actual murder scene? How many killers? And was the dream really real? No suspicious traces near the grave. How was he knocked out? Zhang Yongcheng stood 1 meter 83 tall, weighed around 200 pounds. A big guy. How did the killer subdue him? The grave was 2 meters deep. It takes a grown man most of a day to dig that. Exhausting work. But the biggest mystery remained the dream itself. Unheard of in Changbai Mountain. Probably unheard of anywhere in the country. So the sister, Zhang Yan, who had the dream, became the prime suspect. But after checking her background, Zhang Yan had lived in Liaoning her whole life. This was her first trip to Changbai Mountain. Villagers said she and her brother were very close. No motive, no opportunity. Plus, she was petite, only 1 meter 56 tall. Moving a body, or digging a 2-meter hole, would have been nearly impossible for her. As the investigation dug deeper, a few villagers quietly told police Zhang Yongcheng and Lu Xiaoling were having an affair. Liu Xiaoling was a married woman. After they started working together, the flirting turned into a secret romance. Could Zhang have been pressuring her to divorce and run away with him? And she refused? Not wanting to become village gossip, she killed him? Or maybe a business dispute over money turned deadly. Police brought Lu Xiaoling in for questioning. The moment she arrived, she pleaded innocence. She said, "We were truly in love. It was real. And every time we sold our goods, he'd say, 'Split it however you want.' He never complained. I had zero reason to hurt him." Point. That night, my sister-in-law was at my house. After Zhang left, we just washed up and went to bed. I never stepped outside. Her sister-in-law backed up the alibi. So, Lu Xiaoling was clear. But they were lovers. He was killed after leaving her house. The blood-stained jacket was found right outside her door, and the bloody sand pile was only 15 meters away. That's a lot of coincidences. If she didn't do it, then her husband, Gu Dahai, became the next suspect. Gu Dahai and Lu Xiaoling were from the same village, married for 10 years. He worked as a railway maintenance worker, handling repairs, inspections, and patrols. His job kept him away from home a lot, which meant his wife spent more time with Zhang Yongcheng than with him. He likely discovered the affair, and rage took over. He snapped, killed his wife's lover, and buried the body. Plus, the burial site was right near the railway. Police looked into Gu Dahai. On the night of the murder, he was on the night shift. After the shift change, he was alone on duty. He had plenty of time to slip home, commit the crime, and get back to work. But during interrogation, Gu Dahai played the innocent card. He said, "I had no idea my wife was cheating on me. Besides, he and Zhang were on good terms. They often drank and chatted together. That night, he was on duty at the tracks, didn't go anywhere." But without an alibi, suspicion remained heavy. Still, police had no hard proof tying him to the murder. You can't close a case on guesses. At this point, the investigation seemed to circle back to square one. Police had to re-examine everything. Often, going back to the start reveals details you missed the first time. and those details usually become the key to cracking the case. Police dug into Liu Xiaoling's social circle again and found out she had more than one lover. She had an ex named Han Zhigang. Han Zhigang was married too. He and Li Yu used to be business partners. They say love starts without warning and runs deep, and ends just as suddenly. While working together, they became lovers. But when business picked up, Han Zhigang became the ex. According to Liu Xiaoling, Han was narrow-minded and extremely possessive. 2 months earlier, when Han found out about her and Zhang Yongcheng, he broke into her house in the middle of the night and caused a huge scene. He warned her to cut ties with Zhang immediately. Hearing this, police realized Han Zhigang had a motive too. Could it be a jealous ex, seeing red, picking up a knife and taking out the new guy? So who was the killer? Was it the ex, Han Zhigang, or the current husband, Gu Dahai? Facing 2 potential killers, police brought in the key witness again, Liu Xiaoling, and every time they asked about her husband, Gu Dahai, she dodged the question, clearly hiding something. Officers pressed her, appealing to reason and emotion. Finally, she cracked. 2 months earlier, she saw her husband come home with 2 knives. He hid them in the bedroom wardrobe. And after she found the bloodstained jacket, the knives were gone. She hadn't said anything because she was terrified he'd go to prison, hoping to just keep it quiet. So that was the missing piece. With this new info, Gu Dahai's suspicions skyrocketed. Police confronted Gu Dahai with this, but he flatly denied it, claimed he never brought any knives home. No matter how hard they pushed, he wouldn't budge. But as he kept insisting, his own brother stepped forward. Bro, you do have knives. They're right here with me. Turns out, after Zhang Yongcheng's body was found, Gu Dahai took the 2 knives to his brother for safekeeping and told him not to tell a soul. Caught red-handed, Gu Dahai changed his story. He said, "Yeah, I gave him the knives, but only because I was scared police would suspect me. I figured I'd grab them once the heat died down. Didn't expect it to cause this much trouble." Police tested the knives. Spotless. So clean, there weren't even fingerprints. More importantly, they didn't match the wounds on Zhang Yongcheng. Clearly not the murder weapons. The probe into Gu Dahai had to be paused. Next, let's turn our attention to the other suspect, Han Zhigang. According to his family, the day after the body was found, he suddenly left town in a hurry, claimed he was visiting his college kid in Shandong. But it was already late June. Summer break was just around the corner. No reason to make a special trip right then. Plus, after leaving, he turned off his phone and vanished. Looked a lot like fleeing the scene. Police couldn't track him down. After weighing their options, they came up with a plan: lure the snake out of the hole. Police made a public announcement. Case closed. The killer is Gu Dahai, the jealous husband. Of course, they'd cleared this bluff with Gu Dahai beforehand. The whole point was to flush out the real killer. Since the bloodstained jacket was found under Liu's woodpile, it was likely planted to frame Gu Dahai. Sure enough, 3 days after the announcement, Han Zhigang quietly slipped back into the village. Police put him under covert surveillance while quietly interviewing locals. During those interviews, one villager dropped a crucial clue. He said Han Zhigang borrowed a wheelbarrow on the night of the murder. Claimed he needed to move some sand. The next day, Han returned it, scrubbed spotless inside and out. He couldn't figure out why anyone would haul sand in the pitch dark. Police inspected the wheelbarrow closely, found traces of blood underneath the tray. DNA confirmed it was Zhang Yongcheng's. The conclusion was obvious: that wheelbarrow had carried the body. Police arrested Han Zhigang. As expected, he denied everything. But then, police searched his home and found 2 blood-stained knives hidden under the floor tiles of a makeshift outdoor shower, wrapped in plastic bags. Lab tests confirmed the blood on the blades belonged to the victim, Zhang Yongcheng, and they perfectly matched the stab wounds. Faced with irrefutable evidence, Han Zhigang confessed. He was the one who killed him. Here's how it went down. He was deeply in love with Liu Xiaoling, but after Zhang came into the picture, they drifted apart. When he found out, she'd fallen for Zhang instead, and his pleas to stay together went nowhere. He decided to eliminate the man who ruined his relationship. He'd already scouted the burial spot beforehand and dug the grave. On the night of June 11, 2008, he took 2 knives to Zhang's place, but Zhang wasn't home. As he was turning to leave, he saw Zhang walking out of Liu Xiaoling's house. Rage exploded. He charged and swung the knives. Zhang tried to run. Han chased him. They grappled near the woodpile outside Liu's door. That's when the blood-stained jacket got kicked under the woodpile. Zhang broke free and kept running, but he didn't get far. They fought again by the sandpile. After a few more strikes, Zhang collapsed face down on the sand, motionless. He dragged the body to the pre-dug grave and buried him. He never expected the body would be found so quickly. Han insisted. He didn't even know Zhang's sister. In March 2009, the Yanbian Intermediate People's Court sentenced Han Zhigan to death. With a 2-year reprieve, the case was solved, but the mystery of Zhang Yan's dream still has no logical explanation. Whether dreams can truly guide the living to the dead remains unknown. That's all for today's story. If you enjoyed it, hit like, subscribe, and share. Your support means everything. I'm Brian. I'll see you in the next one.